Hey crew, welcome back to another episode of ASTROHUNKS. This is a series of weirdly edited clips. I actually interpret for you the birth charts of some of your hottest celebrity males you requested. So today, in this episode, I'm dealing with Christian Bale. He's such an amazing actor, and also he's been physically one of my crushes for such a very long time. He's also the third Aquarius actor, Aquarius Sun actor that I'm dealing with in this series, because the previous ones were Harry Styles and Tom Hiddleston. Indeed, you will find out as I go through the interpretation of his birth chart that Tom Hiddleston has a lot in common with Christian Bale's, especially from the position of their sun and their moon, the two luminaries that show our identity, our conscious and unconscious identity. So without further ado, here is Christian Bale's chart. So Christian is an Aquarius Sun conjunct the stellium of planets in Aquarius. He has so much action in the sign of Aquarius. This makes him a creative introvert. And if you guys have been ordering birth charts from me, you do know that I love to actually focus on the influence of a stellium in your birth chart and how this kind of plays out. This means that his chart is a little bit imbalanced. A lot of energy being funneled into one particular sign means that other houses and other signs are being neglected in this lifetime. I can see here that he is a sun in Aquarius conjunct Venus at the final degree, which astrologers call the anaretic degree, number 29, conjunct Lilith in Aquarius, conjunct Jupiter in Aquarius, and Mercury in Aquarius. This guy is incredibly intelligent, and sometimes he might give the impression that he comes from a different planet. The second interesting marker is one that I wouldn't normally focus the first time on, but it drew me in so strongly because it shows his destiny as an actor. This guy was born to be an actor. That's why he's so good, and that's why so far in the AstroHunks series, he's the first Oscar winner actor that I'm interpreting the birth chart for. And I can see very clearly here that his North Node is in the sign of abundance, good luck, and expressive extroversion, Sagittarius, and it is conjunct Neptune. Neptune is the energy of film, illusions, daydreams, creating and projecting your feelings onto the bigger screen for the whole world to interpret and to participate in. With your North Node conjunct Neptune, you are meant to do something creative in this lifetime. You are meant to inspire others on a deep collective level. This is what Christian Bale is doing, and this is why he can play roles as versatile as being Jesus Christ 1 second and then Batman another, light and dark. The realm of Pisces is the realm of polarity. And why am I saying Pisces? Well, because Neptune rules the sign of Pisces. Not only that, but traditionally in ancient astrology, Sagittarius and Pisces both had the same ruler, Jupiter, before Neptune was discovered in modern ages. So the fact that he has his North Node in a sign that is ruled by Jupiter, Sagittarius, conjunct the old traditional ruler of Pisces, which was Jupiter, then this makes me feel that this guy was meant for prosperity. He was meant to create abundance. He was meant to influence the masses, to become rich, wealthy, and famous. And the interesting aspect is that he comes from a lot of difficulty. He comes from karma. He comes from pain. He comes from a background where he is more comfortable with doing without, with having very little, with minimalism. Why am I saying this? Well, because what's opposite that North Node in Sagittarius conjunct his Neptune in Sagittarius is his South Node in Gemini conjunct Saturn. People that have their South Node conjunct Saturn are more comfortable being strict. They are more comfortable with having very few things in their life. They might have been born in poverty or in a household where the mother or the father was sick or there was very little food and very little comfort. He was not born in this lifetime knowing pleasure. Yeah, that was a pretty graphic image, right? He looked so hot, but so cold and unapproachable in American Psycho. But then in The Machinist, he completely emaciated himself. And this gives me another indication that he was playing the energy in his birth chart. Not only was he playing that strong South Node conjunct Saturn, because Saturn shrinks, emaciates, takes away from you all the energy, and his very, very ultra thin, slim, almost kind of sick body in The Machinist was playing up on this South Node theme. But also, our man has a Pluto in Libra conjunct Uranus. This guy is a walking, talking zap zone, to quote one of my favorite astrologers, Mystic Medusa. Mystic Medusa describes the energy of Pluto conjunct Uranus, the energy of powerful change conjunct the planet of erratic, spontaneous action, as a constantly moving atom within an atom. It's kind of like you are this dynamo that constantly needs to change and reinvent yourself. This is the energy that Christian carries with him. That's why sometimes he might come across as super intense and other times as super childlike and full of joy and fun. He might be a little bit out of this world in his movie choices and in the way that he thinks about life, but then he's also quite traditional and stable, and he seems like the strong, solid provider. It's a game of extremes with him. You never know what you're going to take, but you do know that you're going to take something solid with either options, and that's what makes him so fascinating to look at. But here's the redeeming characteristic. This guy is super playful. He loves to laugh. He loves to be the life of the party. He loves to move around. He might love fast cars. He might like a fast motorcycle ride. He likes to do things on the spur of the moment. He's got a moon in Aries, which is very childlike, very playful. But what I really like about his birth chart is that he has a placement in common with mine. He has Mars in Taurus, which gives him such stamina. This guy does not give up. This guy, when he starts a project, he's in it to win it. He's a guy that loves stability. He likes to create things that last, and he does not want to give up. So I can see here from the position of his South Node conjunct Saturn in Gemini, in tandem with his very strong Aquarius stellium, which is in a fixed air sign, together with his Mars in Taurus, again in a fixed earth sign. And you guys need to know that men usually tend to identify more with the position of their Mars than with anything else in their birth chart. This gives me the feeling that he's such a stubborn workhorse. He is such a powerhouse. He does come across as quite intense sometimes and quite rigid. And this is where the influences, the combined influences that I just mentioned in his chart, come into play. Now, how is he in bed? This is everybody's favorite part, the fantasy bed. Well, I'm here to let you guys know that he is a feminist, okay? I do interpret Lilith conjunct somebody's sun sign and somebody's Venus sign as the beneficial energy where a man has a very strongly developed wild feminine archetype within himself. So he's able to understand and recognize female independence. He's able to honor it and support it because he carries this energy within him. So a man with a sun conjunct Lilith conjunct Venus conjunct Mercury and Jupiter cannot help himself but to be an advocate for gender equality, an advocate for women's rights, an advocate for tolerance and respect. At the same time, he's also quite of an introvert with all that stellium energy. So he can prefer to do things indoors in intimacy. He can prefer a lot of quiet and downtime. He's very brainy as well. So this guy loves to talk about what it is you want him to do to you in bed. Not only that, but with a Mars in Taurus, he takes his time. He's slow and steady. Once he starts, he finds it very hard to stop whatever it is he's doing. And that is even taking good care of your body, right? So it's very sweet and open-minded and tolerant, but at the same time it can be quite sensual and quite rambunctious and quite overwhelming. Also keep in mind, with Pluto conjunct Uranus in Libra, this guy can be quite extreme in personal relationships, but ultimately he's able to reach a really beautiful balance. So I think being in a relationship with him can be a little bit of a carousel of emotions, but ultimately with the North Node in Sagittarius, this guy can offer you a really good fun time, okay? So I think that in bed it's a surprise, different positions, different ways, but ultimately you will be sensually satisfied and you'll learn something new from him. man, you know, like I feel like this is the guy that can really open you up sexually speaking. Okay guys, so I hope you've enjoyed this episode. That was my 2 cents regarding Christian Bale's fantastic birth chart. It's pretty hard to interpret. I could spend more time to actually describe it, but I do want to make these videos short and sweet and to just open you up for an interest in astrology and in trying out reading celebrity birth charts on your own as well. Why not, you know, for the budding astrological apprentice. If you would like a personal birth chart reading, I do offer tarot readings as well. Just so you know, I have this option on my website, okay? So keep in mind there is that option as well. I'd be honored to work with you. I'm really happy to create this series for you. Ciao.